Hello everyone, this is Maryann here from Revealing Light Tarot, Astrology and Spirituality. Wherever you are in the world when you're watching, a huge shout out to you. Thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate your likes, your comments. Welcome to new subscribers, and thank you to old subscribers for returning. For those that aren't subscribed, if you want to know when I'm making a video, then subscribe to the channel. That's the best way of getting those alerts through. Some housekeeping before I start on the readings. There are some scammers about pretending to be me and offering personal readings. I want to say I was contacted by the daughter of someone who was being scammed and is convinced that they're talking to me. They are not. I do not offer personal readings. I've got that in the description underneath my channel, and it's very clear. I do not offer personal readings. I have to keep saying it over and over again. The reason that I don't is that I'm too busy doing readings for the collective, and that suits my health, my fragility of health post-cancer. So I will continue to do readings for the collective, but please do not be scammed. It is not me you're talking to. I do not do personal readings. So that's the first thing. Secondly, you will have seen a lot of comments around sound on channels lately. That too is a scam. I caught a comment the other day saying that they were having problems with sound, and then the next comment below it said, if you are interested in a sound stabilizer for YouTube, you can get one. You can, and so you see this trolling. So there's two aspects to that. One is trying to discredit me and the channel, and the other is obviously trying to sell something. So here's the deal with sound. I have a very expensive microphone. I have my recording device up high. Nothing has changed. And no, YouTube is not suppressing sound. I do not want to hear about sound. Closed captions are activated, and sometimes YouTube will hold back on those for about 24 hours, but they are enabled on my channel. So here's the deal. I don't want to hear, because I know that these people are scammers. All right. So if you don't want to get blocked, don't talk to me about sound. Okay. Now, having said all that, let's get to the reading. Scammers really, really press my buttons. Okay. Let's get to the readings today. So I predicted months ago there would be supply shortages, supply chain shortages, supermarket shelves or whatever, shelves empty. Today, the top retailers in the US have warned Trump that even though they bought up before April the 2nd to stockpile stock, in about 2 or 3 weeks, the shelves will start to be bare. Yesterday, when I was reading, I did get that Trump would start to walk back his tariffs. And indeed, later on that afternoon when I logged in, that's exactly what he's doing. Now, will China make a deal? That's what we're going to explore today, because what's happened is there's cargo ships really backloaded into ports that aren't docking, or that they haven't left China. It's like the supply chain has just come to a total halt. That is not sustainable. And you had the Treasury Secretary Bessent warning that this trade war with China is not sustainable. China's in for the long game. Trump is really self-harmed his economy and tipped the US onto a knife edge. Such hubris and such pride, such arrogance and such incompetent willfulness has resulted in a 90% prediction that the US will go into recession. You've seen slight recovery in the markets and the bond market. But what's happened now as a result of him walking back some of those tariffs, saying that China will not be that high for that long, as a result of that, you've seen markets recover a little bit. But of course, the bond market should be stable. It's not anymore. And there's a lot of volatility still. The UK said it won't make deals based on, if they want to touch pharmaceuticals and other areas in the UK economy, there'll be no trade deal. Japan has said there'll be no trade deal. Trump wants Japan to allow American rice farmers to sell rice in Japan and to taking the the subsidies of Japanese farmers for rice off the table and allow a more freer trade. Well, I mean, what is Japanese culinary all about? Its staple is rice. Why would you not want that to be homegrown? So so Japan said no. There's not going to be any deal. I think the poorer nations will make deals with the US, but 90 deals in 90 days, no. Trade partners can kiss my ass, as Donald Trump said. No, none of that's happening. In fact, much of the world is moving in different ways around Trump's America. So we'll look at we'll try to make a trade deal. Let's do that. Let's bite that bullet, because that's the one which will cause shortages in so many things, including critical security shortages as well. How bad will those shortages get? Is the US absolutely headed, 90% chance headed for recession? I believe you're already in one, but let's see. I want to also look at your budget, because I don't think he's going to get those full raft of his tax cuts for the rich in. I think they're going to have to compromise in some way. But I'm more interested in, and this is simply because of the US debt. Elon Musk was not able to find $2 trillion. He stepped back. His company's minus 71% losses on the stock market. And he's in a world of pain, as the readings seem to suggest. I want to know, do any of the cuts to Medicaid go through? Because I think I know what they're going to do. They're going to tighten up eligibility. That's how they're going to save their money, but let's look if that's the case. Will Ukraine cut a deal with Russia? That deal looks to be on very shaky ground for obvious reasons, in that it gave Ukraine nothing and gave Russia everything. The last time I looked, Russia did not win that war. They were still in conflict. So, to the victor go the spoils. No, not at all. And there was some talk about the US taking over Zaporizhzhia, which is the largest nuclear plant in Europe. I mean, what the hell's going on here? Will Gaza ever be liberated? It's not in our headlines, is it? Yet the suffering continues. And I want to know, will Trump ever be imprisoned? Not imprisoned, convicted, because I think he's too old to be imprisoned. But maybe not. Will he ever be convicted of crimes committed during this term? The Supreme Court, as I said, has held. He's not allowed to use the Alien or Enemies Act that he's using to deport people. That was a 9-0 ruling that he can't use. He can't just pull things out of the air and deny people of due process. I did say on November the 8th that the Supreme Court would hold in critical matters. I still believe that to be the case. All right, let's get going after that intro. Let's start now. The decks that I'm using is the let's see. This is the one Chrissy gifted me. Chrissy from the UK. Big shout out to Chrissy. Voice and Vision Tarot is the first deck I'll be using, and then my absolute favourite is the Osho Zen Tarot. It just feels so good in my hands. I studied Zen philosophy years ago as a student when I was at university. Loved the Osho Zen Tarot. And I feel that it's so appropriate. Thank you all for your Easter wishes, and also for understanding my digital detox over Easter. I hope other people did that, because I absolutely benefited from that. I was in a bit of a hole before Easter, staying vigilant, keeping on top of things for you, so that I could make sense out of what was going on. And I just needed to remember that that I have another life aside from work. And so it was really good to take a digital detox. All right. I do tend to get to be a little bit of a workaholic. That's, and I do need to take time out to recover every now and then. All right. Thank you. I hope you're doing the same thing. Let's get started. Will China ever make a deal with Trump? They're playing hardball right now. It's almost like they knew all this was going to happen. Will China make a trade deal with Trump? Okay, so they're going to delay. Well, they didn't start the trade war. Let's be clear about that. But I'm just seeing empty shelves, so I don't see a deal coming anytime soon. What they might do is wait for him to lower tariffs, hold out, because their economy is, the US is not their only trading partner. They supply goods and services all around the world. All right, so let's take a look. Will China? So not for a while. The shelves, you're going to face stock shortages. That's going to be a reality because I'm just seeing warehouses with no stock on the shelves. Okay, so will China make a deal? Will China make a deal with Trump? Will China make a deal with Trump? Will China make a deal with Trump? I think ultimately there will be, but it's not going to be anytime soon, and it's not going to be at all what Trump envisages. The Hanged Man comes up first, so pausing, suspending what? Suspending trade. And then we get the Four of Wands, reunions, celebrations. This can also be, again, like I'm just getting the vibe that, weddings are planned, but things they can't supply certain things. It's just large gatherings, large occasions. It's going to get to that way where they're going to be having to suspend certain activities. Let's keep going. We've got the Ten of Coins as the foundation of this reading, and this is about investment. And I think there is a strategy here to drive investment away from the US. I think that China, as I said, is playing, and they've said that, they're playing the long game. I think possibly there's a deal, but in the end, not before things get a little bit more critical than what they have been. We have the Seven of Cups in the past, delusion, and it's really about poor choices. You would expect a president and his policy team to understand what was at stake, to do things in a measured way if they wanted to how can I say it? There are certain things that countries are good at manufacturing, and that's the sector that should be boosted. Where critical security, country securities are at risk, they're the sectors that should be started. But in the way that he's done this, just this foolhardy way that he's done it, extreme way that he's done it. Okay, so there's going to be a change of plans here. Trump's going to change his tact significantly. He already has started to do that. I picked that up in the reading yesterday before he announced that those tariffs on China won't be high for that long. He's the one that will be walking back. Now, it looks like there is some deal in the future. So we get the Two of Cups. Let's keep going. That's when I say it's not long term, but it can be. I don't want to put a time on it. The deal's done because he backtracks. All right. So we have an abuse of power and sabotage. I mean, that's quite clear. And the Page of Swords. There's a growing clarity around what he's done to the economy. I think it should be quite clear. I watched a Republican town hall meeting with Byron Donalds in Florida, is that his name? And they were livid. They were shouting. He couldn't get a word in edgewise. It was so good to see because he's so obnoxious. Okay, the Eight of Cups in the hopes and fears, walking away. Who's walking away from whom? And then we get the Devil. Ooh, no time soon. It looks like there's a time when it looks like there's a deal that's going to be done, and it's not. Because the Devil card is here, which is, greed, toxicity, attachment. Goodness gracious, but moving out of troubled waters. Okay, so ships start to flow and there is a new start. But this period, this Seven of Cups period, Seven of Pentacles period, the Devil card coming up again, teaches the Trump government a big, big lesson. Is Trump winning the trade war? No, absolutely not. Will he win the trade war? No. We get the Magician, and we get that was the Four of Swords retreat. Now I get the Five of Swords here. So the Four of Swords in the present position was retreat and a growing clarity that they couldn't continue with their position. Sorry about that. These are new cards. Magician card is manifestation. Now we have the Five of Swords. What was he manifesting? And that is sabotage. Sabotage. And the Four of Coins, what was he manifesting? A recession. Wow, juggling the economy. Not good. Not good at all. All right. So will there be a deal? Not anytime soon. Eventually there is, but it's like a big lesson is learnt. And that's China's long game here. Eventually there will be. Can I put a time on that? No, I got the Devil card as the outcome. There's a learning that has to take place here, and a waking up. Eventually there will be, because the Six of Swords indicates that the ships are moving out of troubled waters. But I think he's going to try and announce something soon to try and soften China up. I think he's going to formally announce a walking back of the high tariffs. I think that's what it's going to be. Say we're talking to China, yada yada. But in actual fact, that's it's good to see the tariffs come down for my American viewers. But I don't know that there's an actual deal done for some time. I hope it's sooner rather than later for everybody's benefit. All right, how bad will these empty shelves get? Okay, so decisions have to be made. Heavy decisions are being made by retailers. I'm not sure what that means. Is that layoffs? Is that layoffs of staff? I think it is layoffs of staff. Their profits will take a hit. American business profits will take a hit. We're going to see layoffs, unfortunately. All right, let's see. Okay, so how bad will the supply shortages get? How bad will the supply shortages get? I mean, there are other countries that can supply things, but China has monopolies on markets. How bad will... And, of course, he's peeved everybody off by ill-treating them. All right, allies will come back to a certain extent in 2028 when there's a new president. No, he won't do a third term. Absolutely not. But there's a lot of goodwill lost and a lot of trust lost. Okay, so how bad will these shortages get? How bad will these shortages get? All right, so we get the emperor, the president, and then we get having to do a double take. Now, this is a season of time when the harvest doesn't come through, and there's a need to replan. Sorry, I'll just turn that on silent. Okay, so there's a need for a new plan, and then we get the Five of Wands, a lot of partisanship. You're going to see town hall meetings getting even worse. The World card is in the past. This is a changed world now. He's broken stuff. He's broken the world order, and it's for good. Here he is. There's been a lot of talk about King of Pentacles business, about market manipulation. We'll get to that. I've already read on that. It's definitely going on. But this is about businesses. Okay, so, and we get justice. Okay, so businesses are suffering. We get justice, the justice karmic card. A lot of this is karma. I've had a very brave viewer come on and say that she didn't vote for what Trump is doing, and all power to her. A lot of people who did vote for him are waking up, and thus we have a kind of karmic situation. Okay, Page of Wands is in the present, and then we have temperance, moderation. So, yeah, this is the lesson here is about extremism, and we get heartbreak, the Three of Swords in the hopes and fears, and finally we get the Devil card again in the outcome. Okay, so what can I say? Do I need to say anything about these cards? The Devil in the outcome again, clarified by sustainability or lack of it, clarified by manifesting what? Manifesting a recession. Stock shortages will occur, and we've got the US heading into a recession, and I don't need to say any more. You know that was obviously, it's like if you apply logic to it, that's obviously the destination that you get. But you're going to see a big walk back, and that will help. That will help somewhat. Okay, so let's move to the budget. Do any cuts to Medicaid eligibility go through the budget process? Because my feeling is that's where they're going to cut. They're going to make these cuts to eligibility. Politicians do it in Australia all the time. They raise pension age, say, well, you're not eligible for the pension at 65, you've got to wait till you're 67. You're not eligible for Social Security. Well, Social Security is different in our country. Welfare, the cap, they raise the limit. You can't have it if you're earning 35,000 when before you could have it if you were earning 32,000 sort of. So savings are made through adjusting eligibilities all the time, and somehow they are perceived as less drastic than simply cutting 800 billion off the bottom line. But let's see, will there be changes to the Medicaid eligibility? Will there be changes to the Medicaid? It's certainly being fought over. Will there be changes? And someone's coming through all that warfare, if you like, between the actual GOP representatives. Will there be changes to the Medicaid eligibility in the budget process? The good news is I don't think all of his tax cuts get through. So they definitely have a plan, and we get the Seven of Cups, again, illusion, create the illusion, choices, either good choices or bad choices. We've got fire and we've got watery energy here. We get the Fool card, new starts at the base of the pack. We have the Page of Coins. They've already done their budgeting in the past. They know how much they're going to save. If first one plan doesn't succeed, they try another. I think this is the second. This is plan B. We have the King of Coins here in the immediate future. He wants those tax cuts. There's the Devil card again. That's coming up all the time in my readings on the Trump government, and the Five of Wands. Partisanship, the Devil. The thing about the Devil is it's darkness, and you've got to pierce the darkness with the light of awareness. And so I see the Devil card. Yes, it's greed. Yes, it's avarice. Yes, it can be addictions. Yes, it can be toxicity. It's all the horrible stuff combined with the Five of Wands, the fighting, the partisanship. But the trick with the Devil is that you see through the darkness into the light of awareness. The Strength card in the hopes and fears. And then we get the Ace of Swords, yes. I mean, when you see that's the truth of it. When you see the Ace of Swords card come in your outcome, it's pretty clear what they're going to try and do. They're going to struggle even to do that, because once the sums are done, it's clear who this is going to hurt. We get the Lovers card. Oh no, there's no naked people in that. Sometimes I cover the Lovers card because it has naked people, and YouTube doesn't like that. His cult will come to the party and help him get this through. And we get the Five of Swords, abuse and sabotage, Chariot card, things moving very, very quickly. I'm going to say that yes, I think that there will be a change of eligibility on Medicaid. And that's how they're going to get some of the cuts through. I hope I'm wrong on that, because people in need are people in need. All right, let's move to the Ukraine-Russia. America is really trying to broker a deal that suits Russia. That's the long and the short of it. They've abandoned Ukraine, and they are trying to cut Russia the deal that it wants, because Russia's economy is in free fall, and of course the tariffs are dropping the price of oil, so it's affecting Russia's oil, the money that it's making off oil. Putin has turned around and says, oh, well, I will negotiate directly with Ukraine. He's also promised Trump a big tower in Russia, Trump Tower in Russia. You know, like it's very, very clear what is occurring here. Zelensky is no fool. The Ukrainians are no fools. They are not going to accept this. But let's see if there will be a deal at any time between Russia, and if Russia doesn't want, territory, if its real reason was to stop Ukraine joining NATO, well, they've already got that. Ukraine's agreed not to join NATO. Might have been about a bit more than that. Might have been a bit more about than they felt threatened. Might have something to do with gaining territory. Okay. All right, let's see. Will Russia ever make a deal with Ukraine? Will Russia ever make a deal with Ukraine? Will Russia ever make a deal? Someone's crown is falling off. Will Russia ever make a deal with Ukraine? I'm seeing a woman here. I don't know why I'm seeing a female leader, but I am. Okay, I predicted there will be a female leader in Russia at some time in the future. Will Russia ever make a deal with Ukraine? All right, so we have here the Eight of Wands, things moving very quickly, and we get wisdom. So there's going to be a breakthrough, I think, of some sort. Well, initially, that's what I think. We get the Lovers card, relationships. We get, obviously, the Five of Swords in the past, which is abuse of power. I mean, that pretty much sums it all up, doesn't it? We get the Four of Cups, disappointment, but one cup is remaining. There's a wise choice for someone to make here, and it looks like they might make it. Yes, the Star card. Okay. I like what I see. The Ace of Cups. There it is. There's the Ace of Cups. A reset. And then we've got something hidden from us that we can't see here with the High Priestess. We get the Eight of Cups in the hopes and fears, obviously walking away from the deal. And then we get the Two of Swords. There's a heavy decision for somebody to make. Someone has to make a wise choice. The Two of Swords and endings and new beginnings. And then the Three of Wands, trade, ships, Knight of Cups, and offer. The Two of Coins, juggling things, trying to make the right decision and justice occurring. Russia, too, has a heavy decision to make. It's not just Ukraine. But the World card here indicates there will be some sort of ending and a new beginning coming up. So I feel that a deal is possible. Right now we have betrayal, heartbreak, the Chariot, things moving very, very quickly. We get the government. We get really struggling here. And then we get a great deal of despair and grief. And the Page of Wands, we finally get this new start. There's a woman here playing a role. So I'm going to say that somebody has a huge decision, like both parties could end this if they saw sense, not if they saw sense. Putin was the aggressor. He could end this tomorrow. Is he going to make a wise choice? I think there is a deal to be done, but there's a huge amount of compromise that's going to be needed, and a lot of wisdom too. The deal's not off the table, whether it's this time or the next time. Potentially there's a deal that will be made and that war will end. Okay, I hope so, without Ukraine having to give up too much. All right, so where are we? Will Gaza ever be liberated? I find that a really sad question to ask. I really do. Let's switch decks and see if I can gain any sort of feeling or understanding about what is occurring here. China has said taking more active and prominent role in world affairs, has said that about the negotiations between Iran and the US, that they like to see the diplomatic talks. They don't believe in sanctions, and that you should keep talking till you reach an agreement. That's Iran and the US. All right, let's have a look at Gaza. Gaza. I unfortunately saw that Gaza may not survive in my annual predictions in terms of something radically changes there. It's just total and utter devastation. Every time I look at Gaza, I see... What am I seeing? A pathway forward, and they're moving toward the light. I don't think all is lost. Let's see. Will Gaza ever be liberated from the Israelis? Will Gaza ever be liberated? The death camps, the concentration camps. There's a lot internally going wrong in Israel. Reservists refusing to turn up in the Israeli army. Will Gaza ever be liberated? I don't know. You know, they're living on the doorstep of a death camp. Okay, intensity, which is I think is the Page of Wands in this Zen Tarot, Osho Zen Tarot. Intensity, the Knight of Wands, and then we get completion. So yes, I think there is a piece of the puzzle there. Completion, making something whole. We get politics, the Seven of Swords in the foundation of the reading, which is lies and deceit. And we get the Master, which is the one card of, you know, high-minded wisdom in this deck. It's in the past though. In the sky, we get the karmic card, judgment, inevitability, past lives. Again, this is I ask for understanding. I mean, this is a conflict that spans generations, that has its origins in land theft. But these people here are being subjugated, and we just get, it's like a time, an hourglass with people inside it, liberated with some kind of dragon. They're trapped in time. They're trapped in time. Beyond illusion here. That's the Temperance card. Beyond illusion. I think it's the Temperance card. Beyond illusion. So I think, things play out in the world and, innocent lives are lost. And it's a process of everybody seeing the utter truth in it, all its darkness. Clinging to the past is the in the present position, the Five of Cups, clinging to the past. And then we get creativity. Creativity, the Empress card. I think there's a process of change, but it's a timing thing. The Four of Pentacles, the miser trying to hoard something in the hopes and fears. Four of Pentacles. And then we get healing. Healing. I think that's the court. It's the court. One of the court cards. It's either the King of Cups. So there's a healing going to occur after all this darkness, and a Six of Cups. Reunions, dreams, the dream. Healing in the dream. And then we get the rebel. The rebel. The Emperor. Control. Healing, the dream of reuniting and willing to fight for it. And then we get the Star card, silence. At some point in the future, the conflict will end. I mean, even if Gaza is reconstructed and called something else, it may not necessarily be the end of that last little territory for the Palestinian people, the basis of what was to be Palestine, the new state of Palestine. It looks like they do continue, and there's still hope for healing. Understanding again. Understanding is at the base of the pack, and a new vision needed. The Creator. So right now, Israel is trying to hold back that new beginning. Netanyahu, I should say, not Israel. Netanyahu is trying to hold back that new beginning, and the Gazans are trapped in that not only occupation but trying to hold back the past. So I see there's still hope in this situation, but it's a very, very stark truth that is playing out in the Middle East at the moment. Liberation. They need liberation, and they will keep fighting for that. All right. I want to know, before I finish this reading, will Trump ever be convicted of crimes? Let's go back to the New Visions Tarot. Will he ever be convicted of crimes committed during this term? Okay, that's the question. Will Trump ever be convicted of crimes committed during this term, this current presidency term? Will Trump ever be convicted of crimes in this not in this, but committed during this current presidency? Will Trump ever be convicted of crimes committed during this current presidency? He's not unique. Is what I've been given. He's not unique. If you think he's a magical kind of, escape artist, with some kind of magic, he's not unique. All right, and that's important for you to know. Will Trump ever be convicted of crimes committed during this current presidency? The Ten of Coins, money crimes, and then the Six of Cups, money crimes, the past. Okay, so it could be something that he's done in terms of campaign stuff, campaign monies. We get the Fool card. There is a new start. Believe me when I say there's a new start post-Trump for America. Queen of Cups could be, again, women, crimes against women. There could be court cases in the future there could be even connected with Epstein, even though Trump may not even be here on this earth. There's some kind of vindication here. The Three of Wands, trade, tariffs, overseas, foreign stuff as well. Could be foreign campaign donations come to light post his presidency. The Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment. Are we being realistic given the history here? The Four of Cups in the present, everybody's disappointed, but there's one cup remaining. The Two of Swords, crossroads. Absolutely, there's a crossroads here. Does anyone even have the heart to go down that route? Yes, they will in the future. The Eight of Cups, walking away from what no longer serves us. And then we get the Two of Wands, be patient, something coming to fruition in time. And then we get the Six of Coins, debt. I did a reading on his finances, and he's at some point in the future going to be sued to the nth degree. He's going to end up bankrupt if he isn't already. I know he's trying to rake in the money, but there are crimes to do with money. There's crimes to do with taking foreign money, and there's something around women coming to light in the future. Deals he may have done to get out of debt, and the Seven of Cups, I'm getting tired now, the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so yes, money, foreign, women. They're the three areas, something coming to fruition in time. And know this, that he ends up losing all his, it's like he's bankrupt. Okay. Karma. Don't underestimate it. It's very, very real. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Bye for now.